So 98% of brokers and coaches are not telling us the truth. We are at a point in this industry where there is a big change coming, and that change is inevitable. And the truth about where the sales industry, where we are as a sales industry, is it is an aging industry, and majority, if not 90 to 95% of the industry is very behind in terms of new age technology, in terms of marketing. 90 to 95% of the industry is still relying on cold, old school lead generation techniques like cold calling, door knocking, hosting open houses, and the good old word of mouth. Those of you who are joining in here with me live, those of you who don't know me, my name is Saeed Mohsen. I'm a residential real estate broker out here in Michigan. I have sold over 500 homes in the past 5 years using only online lead generation methods. And through that experience, I have started a team in 2021, and we sold 818 homes in our first year. And I do these Saturday morning live sessions to kind of get on here and share what we are doing, and that try to take the industry with us, as a whole forward. And I'm on a mission to help real estate agents and brokers close more deals utilizing automation and scale their business to 7 to 8 figures. So, why are 98% brokers and coaches getting it wrong? And what are they getting wrong? I always, love market research. And through my experience over the past 7 years, I always learn from what others are doing in the market. So time to time, I have always networked with the best in the market, best in the industry, to get the insight into what's working for them. And initially, of course, when I was new, I listened to what my coaches had to say, and I applied that in my business. And I'm very thankful for everyone who, in the past have helped me, guide me through this experience and get to where I am. But after 2 to 3 years, getting into real estate, I realized, a huge thing about the industry that I was in, and everyone was just parroting the very few that who are getting it right or getting whatever right. Everybody else was just, majority of the industry was just parroting what someone is doing who is probably part of the 5% that's successful, and they're just mimicking it. And at the time, and even now, really, if you were to boil down one thing that's being taught heavily in the industry is cold outreach, specifically cold calling, FISBOs, and expireds is probably one of the major sources. Of course, referrals is number one source. We all know that. But after that, it's usually cold outreach, cold calling, and specifically FISBOs and expireds, or even, circle prospecting. But really, if you boil down, everything that's being taught heavily in the industry right now is cold outreach. And don't get me wrong, cold calling, is definitely a great source of business, cold outreach altogether. And with good training and tools, an agent can easily sell over 100 homes a year with cold outreach, and that's not my point here. My point is, cold outreach has been the strategy on real estate sales for over 30 years now, right? Maybe longer, right? I don't know the older outreach methods. And yes, over time, how cold calling has evolved, we all know how it has evolved. If we don't know, this is how we started. We started with door knocking, and then direct mails, and then phone, and then cell phone. And then, when the internet came, we started using Excel sheets. We started, managing leads. We then started using CRMs. Then we started using scripts. Then we started using dialers. Then we started using virtual assistants. And you guys get the point, right? Our outreach remained the same, which is cold outreach. And aside from maybe some exceptional few who do other forms of marketing coupled with cold outreach, like advertising on the medias, billboards, radio, as such. But majority of the industry is not being taught some of the very basics of marketing before just dumping everyone in the training for cold outreach, because it's working, it's getting us results, right? So and so has closed so and so amount of houses this year doing cold calling, so everyone got to learn cold calling, right? That's how the whole industry has been for 30 years. Guys, think about this. Like, did we not evolve over 30 years? Did our consumers have not evolved? Are we not serving a different generation now, right? Do they appreciate the same level of marketing? Do they appreciate the same type of outreach? Like, do they appreciate cold outreach now? And this is what I'm talking about today. That what should be the very basics of marketing, every real estate professional should implement in their business first before looking into what is so and so doing and what is so and so doing, right? And what is so and so teaching. And I call it 3 R's. Okay, you guys ready for this? It's 3 R's of marketing. 3 R's of marketing, and this applies to any business marketing. So this can be applied anywhere. So those of you who are listening, if you're not in real estate sales but you want to do better marketing, learn that these are the very basics of marketing you need to implement in your business. And it is 3 R's of marketing: reactivate, retarget, and re-engage. Reactivate, retarget, and re-engage. Reactivate, retarget, and re-engage. You guys got that? So I'm gonna explain real quick what do I mean. And if those of you who joined me last Saturday, I talked about how to generate 10 times your current business referral business, and within this year. And one of the things that I talked about was kind of what we consider retargeting. So what you do is you put together your list, your database. You put together your database. What is your database? Your past clients, your sphere of influence, anyone who knows you by name and face. You put all of them in a database and collect their emails and phone numbers, and then you target them. And I kind of walked you guys through how you go about setting up your Facebook business page, Facebook business account, Facebook ad account, and how to create. I showed you guys an example of an ad that you can create to retarget your database. So that's just 1R, retargeting. But before we do retargeting, one thing we can do before even retargeting still won't get you redirect or direct responses from your database. So after you put together your database, first thing we need to do is reactivate. So what we have to do is have nurture campaigns that are pre-built, and we do this in our system, in our business, and we run these reactivation campaigns. We call them reactivation campaigns 3 times a year for 3 different things. Like, we are in real estate business, so we do one for listing campaigns, one for buyer campaigns, and one for investor campaigns, because those are our target markets for our service. So what we do is we have a reactivation campaign. It's a simple two text campaign. So the database, once we start it, our database is pretty big, 120,000 people, but most people probably have 1,000 to 2,000 at max, right? A regular real estate agent. So what our system does is sends out 150 texts a day to the database with an offer. So if it's a listing campaign, it would say we have few spots open this week for a free home consultation, free home valuation consultation would you be interested in one, right? And then, a lot of people opt out. A lot of people say, yes, I am interested. How much are you going to pay for my house? Like, some people, we are running this all the time, right? So through this, we get a lot of appointments. A lot of our appointments comes through our reactivation campaign. So what you have to do is put together the database and set up reactivation campaigns on your database, aside from you reaching out, right? And I talked about last week that, you should reach out to your sphere of influence database quarterly, right? Once a quarter, you should reach out to them, and you should have different dialogues with them to stay top of mind. But aside from that, just doing these three things will make you top of mind on your database. So reactivation campaigns, then retargeting campaigns that we talked about last week, Saturday. The retargeting through Facebook ads is just one method, but that one method is very strong because you are in front of your sphere of influence database 24 hours a day. Depending on the money you're spending on the retargeting, you can actually be like, every time they get on Facebook or Instagram, they see you every single time, and every single person in your database. So that's pretty awesome. So that's retargeting, reactivating, retargeting, and then you're re-engaging them. So just by doing the reactivating and retargeting, you would get engagement from your database. That's how simple it is. And I believe that 98% of the brokers and coaches out there are not teaching this as the first thing to build your business, is to put together your list properly, right? Those of you who, have the objection or limited mindset that, I don't have a database, trust me, if you have that, those of you who are, those 5 of you who are listening in, if you have this objection that I don't have a database, I don't have a sphere of influence, come talk to me, and I will guarantee that you have 300 or more sphere of influences. It's sphere of, maybe you are not defining sphere of influence for yourself properly. You're probably just thinking those who can give me business. Sphere of influence is those people who know you by name and face, right? I understand that some people don't have their phone number and email to all the people that know them by name and face, but you just have to put everyone on that list, right? So good way to do it is go through memory joggers, Google search memory jogger, and you will see a bunch of memory joggers. Just pick one, go through it, run it down, list all the people that going through the memory jogger, collect their phone number, collect their email, upload to database. If you guys want to learn more about reactivation, retargeting, and re-engaging your database, reach out to me in the DM, and I would be happy to help you with your business to get your database, whatever you have, to reactivate them by sending offers to them. By it's still cold outreach, right? But still, it's not as cold because those people know you by name and face, right? It's not cold. But another key is to hit your database through different mediums. Not just, this is just the start, right? This is something that you would do on people that you already know. But once you have started reactivating, retargeting, re-engaging, you have some business going for yourself, and you can afford more tools like CRMs and dialers, and more money on Facebook ads. You can add more people to this database. Now that you got the concept that I am going to, not only build a database, I'm going to grow a database. So you can use different mediums. You can buy data, right? High equity properties from skip tracers. You can, but that's cold data. I prefer, I never do cold data, right? It's just too desperate for me. The approach is very salesy, right? To buy cold data and reach out to people cold. People that know you by name and face, that know you, that you're in business. If you're reaching out to them like that with an offer, it's not really cold. They're in your sphere, in your database. They're in your sphere of influence. So to grow your database, you need to create warm sources, right? Network with realtors, build referral relationships. Advertise on billboards if you have the money, right? But you have to see, even advertising on billboard is so out of date. Like whenever I see a billboard and a real estate agent on it, uh, it gets on my nerves. But like putting your phone number on there, right? It's nothing. You're offering nothing, right? You're literally, even if it's a guarantee that you're putting, it's not an offer, right? 72-hour guarantee, I'll sell your house or I'll buy it, right? Even if it's a guarantee, it's not an offer. Learn basic marketing, put an offer on there, right? And then put a QR code that automatically subscribes anyone that scans the QR code. Put a QR code on your billboards, on your flyers, on your business card, right? Business cards are so out of date. Like someone hand me a business card. I have business card, okay? I'm not out, but I never carry them because phone numbers are obsolete. 70% of people are not answering their phone calls. 70% of the calls are going unanswered. Wake up, guys. What cold calling? Like, you're already, before you even dial, 70% at least. It's actually more for cold calling, especially if the lead can see your company. You're calling from a company number, the lead can see your company number. That's like you lost already. They're not gonna, the 98% chance they're not gonna answer. But still, there is still business in there. That's why people are still doing it. And my point is not to just get on here and tell everyone they're doing it wrong. It's to kind of send the message that we are living in a different time. We are not in 1990s anymore, right? And those who are still in the industry that are doing it successfully have started probably doing it from the 2000s, 2003, 4, 5, and they are probably right now the top 5% of the market. But they are still following, and I'm networking with people, I'm researching what people are doing. All they did was cold call to death and teach cold calling to people. And then when they got to a point where companies like Zillow monopolized the market, right, the real estate marketing space, all they did was add Zillow to their baskets, right? Which is a ridiculous thing to do, because now you're going to support a real estate marketing agency to monopolize the real estate sales industry. I think there are a lot of factors that played into this, why we are here, because greedy brokers pocketed all of the profit, right? They didn't invest into marketing, they didn't invest into technology, and they just, everything they got, they just put it in their pocket. And that's been happening for 3-4 decades. And that's why we are here now, is because our industry didn't invest into technology, our industry didn't invest into marketing, and it was always the individual, because it's a independent contractor industry. It was always the individuals who wanted to excel, who wanted to invest in themselves. And what did they invest in? They invested into coaches, right? And that a lot of those coaches got tired of sales and got tired of this old way of doing it, no change in the industry. So a lot of those coaches come from that space. What are they going to teach the agents who are looking to invest in the business? And they are teaching them the same thing: cold outreach, cold outreach, cold outreach, buy Zillow leads, buy Zillow leads, buy Zillow leads. And all they're teaching is how to convert the cold outreach. All they're teaching is how to convert the Zillow lead. They're not really teaching how to build a future-proof business, how to build a business, how to build an infrastructure where it will not be taken over and monopolized, and it will not die over time. Real estate sales industry is dying. It's almost in this phase of being put into senior, um, like those institutes where senior people go, where they have to be taken care of. Real estate agents are in that space right now, in that phase where leads are being provided by Zillow, and portion of their SSI, which is income, is going to Zillow. Come on, guys, wake up, guys. So thank you guys for joining in. That was my message, that 98% of real estate coaches and brokers are not teaching us the very basics of marketing because they have not invested into marketing themselves, because the old way always worked. Why try something new? And it's not going to run for too well. My prediction would be, if the industry as a whole, we don't move forward, we don't invest in new way of marketing, new way of getting our message out to the consumers, and new way of capturing consumers, we don't utilize all of these technology that are available to us. All other industries are doing it except for the real estate industry. Majority of real estate industry is behind because it's an aging industry. It didn't innovate with its time, and we are growing older and older. And if the majority of the industry don't pull themselves up and innovate and utilize online lead generation, utilize, invest in marketing, invest in, growing database, on automation with efficiency, invest in chat bots to kind of minimize the work, right? To pre-qualify leads on automation, invest in CRMs, tools, AIs, automation. All of that, if we don't do it as a whole, if majority of the industry don't come on board, we are going to see the real estate industry getting into nursing home, where majority of the agents in the industry will be on payroll of a company or the government. It would have to be that way because the marketing space is way advanced, right? They're talking about AI coaching of consumers, right? AI coaching of consumers. You know what that could do to a business, right? If that's where the marketing industry is, and we as real estate agents, we are still cold calling, just look at the picture, right? So we are the 1% of brokers and agents who are going to defy this reality. And reach out to me if you want to learn more about reactivating, retargeting, and re-engaging your database. Those of you who are staying in tune with everything we are doing, we just dropped a course. It's February 1st will be the first day it would be available to those of you who opted in for the pre-sale. And we will make it available to the public on February 1st. It's a 12-week course on how to automating your lead generation, your lead conversion, and your lead nurture, and how to grow a 7-figure business over 1 year period. So reach out to me if you want to learn more about that. And thanks to all of you who listened in. I hope you took something out of it, and start implementing basics of marketing into your business. At the very least, that will already set you apart from 80% of real estate agents are just looking at it as side money. So thanks everyone for joining in. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys soon.